Hello everyone, my name's Mr. Big T Anderson, and today we're doing Gold Dust by Alabaster86. It's another from the Avatar. So, with that, for those who are new here, let me explain the rules. I read fanfictions, I find authors whose stuff I like for one reason or another in different subjects every month. Read them here. If you like the stories, you can always find the links to the author's fanfiction or writing page, or to the fanfiction itself in the links down below, just for you. Now, let us begin with Gold Dust. Sorry, I'm a wrestling fan, gotta do that at least once. Anyway, on to the story. Izumi loved these when she was little. Fire Lord Zuko rested his hands on the balcony and gazed upward. A myriad of colors dappled the midnight sky, and the resounding bang of the fireworks reverberated in his chest. Mai rested a hand on his arm before stroking gently. She did. But Izumi's a teenager. And, well... yes, I recall teenage you and fireworks would not have impressed. Too bright, too loud, too happy. Mai snickered. Too orange. They both laughed now. Zuko putting an arm around Mai and pulling her close. She buried into his body, enjoying the smell and the feel, things she never tired of. I miss her being little. The Fire Lord's tone was suddenly melancholy. I know. I miss Iroh. This time his voice quavered, and Mai knew without looking that his eyes were damp with tears. He'd always been emotional. Mercurially so. It fascinated Mai how expressive his face was, how rage, joy, sorrow could take hold of his features, his stance radiating off of him so powerfully it could overwhelm her too, the sheer intensity of him. More open than years ago, Mai still kept her feelings and thoughts close. She preferred it that way. What was once a survival mechanism had become ingrained, part of her very fabric. Mai seriously doubted she could change that, no matter what incentive or threat. She lifted her head, met her husband's eyes before whispering, "We all miss Iroh." But Mai realized Zuko felt the anguish of his uncle's loss more keenly. There was a bond forged between them under adversity. The father-son relationship that should have been with Ozai had been with Lu Ten. Iroh stuck by Zuko when he was nothing but rage and pain. Frighteningly driven and often cruel, he'd witnessed Zuko's worst, given love and guidance, and was eventually rewarded with his surrogate son's growth. He was Zuko's father, and Iroh's absence left a hole that could never be filled. Zuko nodded before placing a kiss on Mai's hand. "I'm selfish," he began. "I hate the part of me that wished Iroh had hung on a bit longer, even a few days, just so I could talk to him, sit with him. I wanted him to see Izumi grow up, be there for her wedding. If she gets married. Maybe she won't. You know what I mean." "Yeah, I do." Iroh, he was suffering, and he got to see so much over the years. Remember how happy he was when Izumi made her first fire? The way his eyes shone, that grin nothing could wipe off his face. That was a good day. Her mind floated back. They had been visiting Iroh in Ba Sing Se. His tea shop was a second home, a place where they could truly relax and forget about royal duties temporarily. Izumi adored her great uncle, adored the sprawling metropolis, and adored the tea shop. She was determined, like her father, and wanted to be a firebender like him and Iroh. There were no guarantees that firebending flowed in her veins, though. Mai was not a bender, after all, although fierce in her own right. Izumi already knew many of the moves that accompanied firebending. She often watched her father train and absorbed as only the young can. Clumsy at first, the little girl practiced on her own time, sneaking off to find deserted parts of the palace, working till exhausted. Mai or Zuko or the nanny often found her, after much frustrated searching, curled up asleep under some old desk or behind a couch. "I still can't make fire." Izumi walked that brisk autumn day at the Jasmine Dragon. The 6-year-old stomped one foot and crossed her arms. She looked very much like a tiny Zuko at the moment. Full of uncontained exasperation and anger, Mai clasped a hand over her lips, pressing the smile that threatened to show itself. You will when you're ready. Maisu, not wanting to say right then Izumi might not be a bender. I want to be ready now. Hard to argue with that, Zuko added, hiding his own grin. I'll tell you something I told your father years ago, little one. Iroh stepped forward, stroking his long gray beard, amber eyes serious. Patience is invaluable. What does that mean? Iroh's voice calmed Izumi, and she scooted over to her great uncle. Gazed curious, she cuddled up to the old man, her parents forgotten temporarily. Well, sometimes things take a while to happen and we have to wait. But waiting's hard, like when cookies take forever to bake. I agree with you there, Izumi, but when they are ready, they're warm and delicious. Isn't the wait worth it? Yeah, I guess so. Then when your fire decides to show itself, you'll be ready and you'll forget all that waiting. And if it doesn't, you'll be ready for something else, like your mother and Sokka and Suki. There is a place for you in the world no matter what, fire or no fire. You are Izumi, daughter of Fire Lord Zuko and Fire Lady Mai, two of the finest, fiercest people I know. The little girl's face scrunched up in concentration as she processed Iroh's words. I get it, she finally said it and ambled off to practice some more. Self-imposed pressure gone, Izumi relaxed and later that day produced a weak flame. Joy filled her up and spread to Iroh, who let out a whoop and scooped her into his arms. Well done, he whispered, and Izumi beamed. It's your determination I am the most proud of. Mai and Zuko stood back, allowing Iroh his moment with Izumi. There'd be time later for their own congratulations, because it was, after all, a good day. Izumi hovered in the doorway. She could see her parents on the balcony, arms snaked about each other, watching the final burst of color light up the night. Geez, she drawled. You really can't keep your hands off each other. Her parents turned at the sound of her voice, surprise and delight warring on both their faces. You came. Late, but good to see you. The party was boring. The people were boring. This is boring too, but, you know, it's tradition. What she really wanted to say, but she couldn't, was that her time at the party, filled with jaded teenagers, had been spent thinking of her parents eating their New Year's Eve dinner and watching the fireworks without her. She felt achy inside, and then suddenly, more than anything, she wanted to go home. So she did. Her mother rolled her eyes. Good thing they're over, Izumi. Any food left? She felt famished suddenly. You could sit and eat and talk and stuff. Yeah, plenty. And that sounds good, right, Zuko? It does. I love spending time with my girls. Izumi wormed her way between her parents, guiding them to the table, enjoying the closeness. It's going to be a good night after all, she whispered to herself. Years later, when she was grown, Izumi looked back on that New Year's celebration with fondness. After her parents died, pain accompanied the memory. More years, and the pain dulled and dulled until it evaporated completely. And Izumi was filled only with the realization of how fortunate she had been. And that was Gold Dust by Alabaster86. Now, this is somewhere between Avatar and Korra, but it's in the same universe, so yeah. Before I get someone going, technically this is too old for them to be Avatar. Yeah, well, In any case, if you enjoyed it, hit the links down below, give the author some well wishes. If you like how I did it, let me know here. I'm trying to get better at this every time. And, you know, you guys have a good one. Ta-ta for now.